The Indian president of the Asiatic Society was Justice K.T. Telang, another brilliant judge and a social reformer. Bharat Ratna Mahamahopadhyay Dr. P.V. Kane did his monumental research on the Dharmashastras here. The Society's Research Institute is aptly named after him. And the Society's library contains books recording debates and discussions which took place in the early 20th century relating to social customs which were considered harmful to society. These books record the debates which social reformers in the early 20th century held, challenging harmful customs such as child marriages, ban on widow remarriage, the position of women under Hindu law, women's right to inheritance, education of women, and so on. In my student days in Elphinstone College, I remember reading a book from this library in which had been reproduced verbatim the debate which took place, I think it was at Prarthana Samaj, between those in favor of the Parda system and those against it. It made fascinating reading. Unfortunately, I did not note down the name of the book, and I have not been able to trace it since. But it was a book which inspired me, and my Ramabai Paranjpe lectures at the Nagpur University on Hindu law were partly based on some of the research I had then done on his Hindu customs and how far such customs were supported by the original texts. As you know, the Social Conference of Justice Ranade made a demand for changes in the law to usher in social change as a part of the freedom struggle. This demand is as vocal now as it was then. In more recent times, the Bansari Sheth Memorial Lectures in the memory of the lawyer secretary of this society have continued to some extent this discourse on interconnection between law and social change. And I hope the Society's Research Institute will give some scholarly inputs in this debate. I hope this society and its priceless library will continue to inspire many generations of research scholars. And thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Justice Sujata Manohar, for your words of appreciation. I now request our Vice President, Yogesh Kamdar, to read the citation for Dr. Adiga Sundara.
Dr. Adiga Sundara is an archaeologist by training, but his research also covers art and architecture. He has written extensively in Kannada as well as in English. He was fortunate to have the guidance of Professor K.A. Nilakantha Shastri for his MA degree in Indology from the University of Mysore, and Dr. Hasmukh Sankalia for his PhD degree in Archaeology from the University of Pune. He was equally fortunate in his professional career, having had the expert guidance of Dr. M. N. Deshpande in archaeological excavations and explorations, Shri K. R. Srinivasan and Shri K. Krishnadeva in surveying monuments, particularly temples. He has never hesitated in acknowledging the benefits of this training, which provided a strong base for developing keen observation and scientific writing skills. After acquiring his master's degree in 1957, Dr. Sundara underwent practical training in archaeological explorations and excavations for 3 months in the excavations at Bahal and Tekwada. In 1963, he received an Italian government scholarship for a short-term practical training in archaeological prospecting in the Lerici Foundation in Rome. He worked on a national project in Bijapur and Dharwad districts as an exploration assistant from 1957 to 1970, during which time he participated in excavations of a very important Chalcolithic habitation site at Daimabad, Ahmednagar district in Maharashtra. He taught in postgraduate department of studies in ancient Indian history, culture and archaeology at the Karnataka University in various capacities from 1970 till his retirement in 1993 as Dean of Faculty of Social Sciences. During this period, he guided over a dozen PhD students, 3 MPhil students, and 10 MA students. From 1984 to 1987, he was sent on deputation from the university to serve as director of the Directorate of Archaeology, Museums and Heritage, Government of Karnataka. He has presided over numerous conferences and received many awards in recognition of his contribution to archaeology, Paleolithic, Neolithic and Chalcolithic periods. His research interests have included Chalcolithic cultural remains and megalithic passage chambered tomb sites, proto-historic ash mounds of Deccan, rock art, archaeology and tradition, architecture, sculpture, painting, archaeology and national integration, tourism education in India, just to name a few. Based on his field explorations and excavations for over 40 years, he has written more than 300 research articles and 14 books, including edited volumes such as History of Karnataka, Vidyaranya, Hampi, Encyclopedia of History and Archaeology in Kannada, the early chambered tombs of South India, prehistoric art in Karnataka, Ikkeri Adoreshwara, etc. The trustees, managing committee and the members of the Asiatic Society of Mumbai have the privilege to award its honorary fellowship to Dr. Adiga Sundara in recognition of his outstanding contribution to archaeology.
Request Mr. Kale and Dr. Sundara to come up front.
Distinguished guests on the dais and distinguished audience. I know not in what suitable terms I can express my feelings of gratitude to the trustees, members of the society, and also the managing committee. I simply say thanks a lot. For me, this occasion is to make me to remember all those who helped me to become an archaeologist and to do archaeological research. For there is one reason I cannot say anything about the Asiatic Society Mumbai, because my contact with Asiatic Society is nil. And it was a surprise for me as to how my name was picked up by the society, because I was totally disconnected with the society. Only once I recall, I had sent a lengthy article, about 70 pages, for publication in a journal. And that was on the sites I had discovered in the course of my explorations in Bijapur district. It was nothing but description of all those antiquities that I had found in the site. And the society very politely returned the article stating that this is not the way how a research paper should be written. You please revise it and send it to us again. We will certainly publish. By that time I was transferred and something happened, I could not complete that. But for this, I have nothing to recall about my contacts with the society. Today, that society has invited me and honored me so greatly, which I can never forget in my life. I remember all those professors right from my BA honors level, Maharaja College, Mysore, Professor K. Nilakanta Shastri, who was sitting before us and teaching us like a father to their sons. And then Dr. M. Sheshadri, a very eminent prehistorian of those days, taught us archaeology. This is theory. So far as the practical training is concerned, it was Mr. Deshpande, whom I can never forget in my life, who taught me what is exploration, what is excavation, how a site should be identified, how we should recognize layers, etc. So many things, because he was then excavating Bahar and we were being trained there. And there was a rain gully and section was exposed. He took me, he used to take one by one every day, and he took me and showed the section, putting his right hand on my shoulder and then showing with the stick in his hand the layers. That is how practically he trained us. Subsequently, I must remember K.R. Srinivasan and Krishnadev, K. Krishnadev, who gave us very good instructions about the temple architecture and iconography. In no less an important site than Aihole Badami Pattadakal. For 8 days I was there with them, and particularly K.R. Srinivasan, when he stands in front of a temple, the description goes like a poetry. He starts and he ends, and even the short-hand person could not take dictation notes in his book. That was the way how he was doing. Similarly, Krishnadev, he was very affectionate in telling about the special features of North Indian temple style. All these things he taught us. Later on, Mr. K.V. Soundarajan played a very important role in my life. I was doing my research on megaliths under the guidance of the great eminent archaeologist Dr. H.D. Sankalia, and he used to take a lot of interest and used to send books from the Circle Library at Chennai to my place at Dharwad, very rare books, and he asked me to go through them. Like that, he used to encourage me, K.V. Soundarajan. Another important aspect of my work is while I was carrying out my explorations, honestly speaking, we don't discover. No archaeologist will discover any site. The site is there, the villagers know very well. And if we want to identify, first we have to ask a villager. And they tell us about them. And they take us round. Only thing is I can identify. That's all, the difference between a villager and myself. Villager does not know what it is. So it is our duty to tell them about our heritage, because it is their heritage. And we study, we publish papers, and we take PhD degree and what not, and great positions. But what are we doing to our society? That is my question. It is their property. In this way, they used to tell me so many things in villages. And sometimes villagers used to say, what are you writing for the last 1 hour about this temple? It's so dilapidated and in ruins. Then I explained to them about the architecture, its special features, and its place in the history of our temple architecture, all these things. They will feel so happy and emotionally told me to recall their words. Sir, it seems you must have built this temple in those days. And gradually our ancestors also forgot about it and we totally neglected. You felt very sorry, and therefore you have come back and telling us about this. That was the emotional appreciation they had for their heritage once they come to know what it is. So I am often appealing to all the authorities whenever it is possible for me to see that these people are first educated. You need not appoint any watchman or anything. Once they come to know about the importance of these things, they will be able to protect them much better than what your people can do. But of course, government machinery, they say yes. That's all. It ends with it. Anyway, this is going on. We must go on trying. We should not feel disappointed. And that is going on. And whenever such occasion as this arises, say when I'm honored with a fellowship, even Sadvidya Institute also had honored me with fellowship. And some awards also are there. And my question is, what have I done really that has attracted this attention of society, which is honoring me so well? Is there anything really good? Still, I have not been able to find out anything that is good in what I have done so far. I therefore still continue to do good. I do not know whether I will be able to complete it before I breathe my last. Thank you. Namaskar.
Thank you, Dr. Sundara, for your positive attitude, and I'm sure you will continue to do much, much more in the years to come. Two of our honorary fellows are not present today, but they will be receiving the honorary fellowship in absentia. I think it is only appropriate that we read their citations so that you are all aware of their achievements. I would request our Vice President, Meena Vaishampayan, to read the citation for Professor Madhukar Mahendale. He is our oldest recipient, and he will be 100 years old in February 2018. So I'm sure you will all understand why he couldn't travel from Pune to be here in person. We were hoping his son would come, but unfortunately he was unable to come. Dr. Meena Vaishampayan will read the citation for Professor Mahendale.
Professor Madhukar Ananta Mahendale. Professor M.A. Mahendale is a centenarian scholar of great academic stature, belonging to the glorious tradition of eminent scholars in Oriental studies. Securing the most coveted scholarships during his student days, he initially worked as a lecturer at Bagalkot and Navsari, and then joined the esteemed Deccan College, Pune, as reader in 1951. He was the first professor of Sanskrit and was subsequently appointed as the joint general editor of the Encyclopedic Sanskrit Dictionary Project. He is also the general editor of the Mahabharat department at the Bhandarkar Oriental Research Institute, Pune, where he continues to work even today. During his long association of almost 32 years with the Deccan College, he worked extensively on Vedic Sanskrit, Prakrit, Pali, historical linguistics, the epics Ramayana and Mahabharata, and Avesta. He has to his credit 12 books of wide-ranging academic interest. Noteworthy amongst these is the historical grammar of inscriptional Prakrit, which is considered as a standard work in the field of Prakrit. His research papers, almost 100 in number, have been published in reputed publications and international journals. His book reviews, 53 in number, are considered of high academic merit. He has 3 Marathi translations, one each from Sanskrit, Avesta, and German. An excellent orator, he has delivered lectures at many academic forums, including the Asiatic Society of Mumbai. Because of his various specializations, his research output is highly regarded in the world of scholarship. He is equally fluent in Marathi, Hindi, Gujarati, Sanskrit, Pali, Prakrit, Avesta, English, and German. He has acknowledged the writings of German scholars such as Heinrich Lude and E. Paul Schmidt as major literary influences through his academic career. He is the recipient of several prestigious awards, amongst which are the President's Certificate of Honor in 1990, Guru Gangeshwarananda Rashtriya Veda Vedanga Puraskar 1997, Pandit Rajaram Shastri Natekar Puraskar 1997, Professor N.R. Phatak Puraskar 1998,
श्रीमंत नानासाहेब पेशवे धार्मिक आध्यात्मिक पुरस्कार 1999 and the Sahitya Academy Bhasha Sanman 2017. Professor Mendale is a pleasant and congenial scholar, serene and soft-spoken. He is at the same time forthright and fearless in expressing his views, which is indeed a rare and commendable combination of qualities. The trustees, managing committee, and members of the Asiatic Society of Mumbai are honored and privileged to award to Dr. M.A. Mendale its honorary fellowship in recognition of his outstanding contribution to Sanskrit scholarship.
Thank you, Meena. We will be sending him the citation and the medal through his student, Dr. Jamkhedkar. Dr. Jamkhedkar has offered to take it to him in Pune. Our final recipient is Professor Peter Skilling, who lives in Bangkok. He was very keen on coming to Mumbai to receive this honorary fellowship, but I believe he had to go to California for some academic work and couldn't make it. You'll permit me to read the citation. Professor Peter Skilling is a Buddhist scholar, historian, researcher, translator, poet, and lecturer on a wide range of subjects from history and philosophy to Buddhist art, archaeology, epigraphy, and related areas. He is a Canadian citizen based in Bangkok, Thailand, where he has lived for the last 30 years. He is Director of Studies Southeast Asian Buddhism at the École Française d'Extrême-Orient, Bangkok and Paris, and a special lecturer at Chulalongkorn University, Bangkok. He has taught at Harvard and Oxford universities, at the University of California, Berkeley, and at the École Pratique des Hautes Études, Paris. His areas of research include the early history of Mahayana Buddhism, the history of Pali in Southeast Asia, the history of the Buddhist order of nuns, and the archaeology and literature of South and Southeast Asia. His research is conducted in numerous languages, including English, French, Tibetan, Pali, Sanskrit, and Thai. He is president of the Fragile Palm Leaves Foundation, a non-sectarian organization that supports the preservation and study of Buddhist literature of Southeast Asia. The foundation preserves a large collection of palm leaf manuscripts in Pali and Southeast Asian languages. Professor Skilling has served as an advisor in the Khyentse Foundation since 2007 and has provided guidance for the growth of the foundation, especially in the development of ideas relating to academia, scholarship, and translation projects. He has initiated many successful KF projects, including the KF Project Award for Excellence in Buddhist Studies, the KF Outstanding Translation Award, and the KF Best Dissertation Award, now in its formative stage. Some of Professor Skilling's publications include Mahasutras, The Great Discourses of the Buddha, Past Lives of the Buddha, Vatsichun, Art, Architecture and Inscriptions, and How Theravada is Theravada. The trustees, managing committee, and the members of the Asiatic Society of Mumbai feel privileged to honor Professor Peter Skilling with its honorary fellowship in recognition for his outstanding contribution to Buddhist scholarship and the archaeology and literature of South and Southeast Asia. We are hopeful that Professor Peter Skilling will visit Mumbai in perhaps February. He said he would try, and we will then be giving him the honorary fellowship in person. That brings us to the end of the honorary fellowship conferment. We have also one very, very important release and felicitation of our monograph writers. We are releasing 2 monographs today, and I request Mr. Kali to release the monographs and to hand copies over to our distinguished honorary scholars. We have already this is on John Briggs by Prabha Ravishankar. The second monograph is on Henry John Carter by Ravinder Kaur Chima. This is a continuing project, and these are, I think, number 14 and 15 in the list. They are always on sale, priced at rupees 125. Today, you will get them for 100 rupees. So if you want to save your 25 rupees, please make sure to buy a copy for yourself. We like to hear writers' views, and I think Prabha Ravishankar couldn't make it. She's preparing for her daughter's wedding, I think, and she had to go to Delhi for the preparation, so that gets preference over us. But Ravinder Chima will share her experience in writing this monograph.
Honorable President of the Asiatic Society of Mumbai, Mr. Sharad Kale, Honorary Secretary Professor Vispi Balapuria, the dignitaries on the dais, the august gathering, good evening to one and all. I feel privileged and honored today to be amongst the galaxy of eminent intelligentsia of the city of Mumbai. I wish to express my gratitude to the Asiatic Society for having me as a part of the project, the founders and guardians of the Asiatic Society of Mumbai, to write a monograph on Henry John Carter. Late Dr. Tikekar's vision of this project was a constant motivation for me in this journey. I'm short of words to express my heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Tekekar, and I dedicate this monograph to him. Please excuse me. And now, introducing Henry Carter, who had a lifespan of 82 years from 1813 to 1895. He was born in 1813 at a very beautiful place called Budleigh, Saltram, Devonshire, England. In 1838, he graduated in anatomy at University College, where great anatomists such as Robert Edmund Grant and William Sharpie were his teachers. Carter, a physician, a scientist, joined the medical services of the British Army establishment in Bombay in 1842 and retired in 1862. He became an ardent researcher and found a niche among the eminent scholars of the times. Carter held very important positions in various prestigious institutions. He was appointed as Assistant Civil Surgeon at the Bombay Presidency and Surgeon to the Coroner to the Baikala School in Bombay. He was a member of the Medical and Physical Society of Bombay in 1847, and he was nominated as Honorary Secretary of the Society and later became one of the Vice Presidents. In 1862, Carter was elected as the President of the Medical and Physical Society of Bombay until he resigned in May 1862. He was appointed to the post of Honorary Secretary of the Bombay branch of Royal Asiatic Society in 1847 and remained till 1862, till he retired and finally left for England. In 1859, he was elected a Fellow of the Royal Society, and in the same year was elected the President of the Economic Museum Committee, Fellow of the Bombay University, and Justice of Peace for Bombay. Being the Secretary of the Bombay branch of the Royal Asiatic Society for 15 years, the longest reign till then was by itself a remarkable achievement. Perhaps his non-controversial nature enabled him to retain higher administrative positions with much ease. The monograph focuses on the years that Carter spent in India, building up his career and associating with the research societies of Bombay. The monograph lists his exhaustive work and also reviews a few important articles. Carter made a very significant contribution to the city of Bombay, mainly in two areas, one in the field of geology and second zoology. His work titled Geological Papers of Western India is remarkable and is a pioneering study on this subject. The original sketches of this work are preserved in the Asiatic Society of Mumbai. His contribution to geology, zoology, geography, and ethnography of the coast of Arabia were some of his stellar contributions to the field of research. Hundreds of rock and other specimens were donated by him to the museum. In about 41 years, Carter published an unsurpassed 125 papers on sponges. About 800 species were described by Carter for the first time, and more than 20 sponge species are named after him. Carter was the first to write the botanical description of frankincense, the frankincense oil which is used even today in the Ayurvedic field. His work was appreciated by none other than Charles Darwin, who commented that Carter's work deserved a royal medal. Charles Darwin went through a number of papers of 10 years and where he felt that none of those papers of the 10 years publication were standing in space to what Carter has written. He commented at that time that he deserves a royal medal, and it was after 7 years that Carter received the Royal Society's Royal Medal in 1872 for his long continued and valuable research in zoology, and more especially for his inquiries into natural history of Spongilla. Carter's hometown reveres him as an exceptional physician and scientist who brought laurels to his hometown. The Fairlynch Museum paid tribute to Henry John Carter, celebrating his bicentenary in 2013 as the birth of a saltatorian scientific hero. Carter suffered from a paralytic attack in 1888, which kept him confined to his bed till his death on May 4th, 1895 in his hometown. His life and research is an inspiration for many other scholars for the times to come. And today, when we are honoring such great people, I really feel that once you go through the monograph and once you go through all his collection in the Asiatic, you will feel that you are in those times today also. So I think we are keeping and maintaining the legacy of the Asiatic research scholarly work. As far as the sources are concerned, definitely initially there were a lot of challenges, but as my earlier colleagues and scholars have already published a number of monographs, so that was a kind of help to us, that which are the areas where we need to look for the sources. But I couldn't find any biography on Henry John Carter, but I was fortunate to contact one person in this particular museum at that Fairlynch Museum, where they had this exhibition, and I tried to contact him, write mails to him, and he was very happy to know that someone is doing this work, and he has requested me to send a write-up on Henry John Carter, because he has only looked at some part of his life, and what we have at Asiatic, is not much known to them. So he wants a write-up on this which has to be published which they wish to publish in the museum's annual magazine or whatever they would like to. So with your permission, sir, I think we can go ahead with that officially. Lastly, I wish to place on record my thanks to few important people without whom this journey would have never been completed. Firstly, Dr. Usha Thakkar, the convener of the monograph committee, who went through the content very minutely and gave her suggestions, and at the same time very patiently and subtly sent me reminders about the deadline. I sincerely thank the members of the committee, Dr. Mridula Ramanna, Mr. Yogesh Kamdar, and Dr. Mangala Sardeshpande for their suggestions that helped in improvising the monograph. I often troubled Dr. Ramanna with my queries, and she, as always, smilingly offered solutions. I wish she was present today, but she has sent her wishes and blessings. Many, many thanks, Ramanna Madam. I thank Mr. Yogesh and Ms. Madhavi Kamath for making the final draft technically ready to print. My sincere thanks to Dr. Usha Vijayalakshmi for her constant support and for reviewing a few of Carter's articles, and above all, introducing me to Dr. Tikekar for this particular monograph. I owe a lot to her. I thank Mr. Michael Dovins from Fairlynch Museum, UK, who permitted me to use the photographs from his work. Thanks to all the members of the library who always readily helped me in this project, especially Mr. Victor. It was with great difficulty that Mr. Victor was able to trace the very precious and the original work of Carter, which includes the sketches. And now that we are in the digitized age, and we are in the process of doing a lot of digitization, I would request the society to also digitize his original sketching and drawings and maps, which can be, which can go a long way for the future historians or researchers. Thanks once again to one and all, and I request everyone to read the monograph and Carter's work on geology of the island of Bombay is worth reading. He has written on geology of India, but once you read the geology of the island of Bombay, we will know the amount of wealth on which we are standing today. So you please go ahead, read it, and I would be happy to have your comments on that. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Mr. Kale, your work is not over yet. A little presentation to Ravi. Come, Ravi. These are our new mugs, and Ravi, you are the first to receive a gift from us. Finally, the vote of thanks. At the Asiatic Society of Mumbai, we do not treat the vote of thanks as a mere formality, but as an occasion to publicly vocalize our gratitude. On this occasion, I have no hesitation whatsoever in starting with our 6 honorary fellows present today. You will forgive me for addressing all 6 of you jointly, though you deserve to be thanked individually. It has been your evening, and your presence has brought an added luster to our celebration, which we are proud to hold in this magnificent Darbar Hall. Perhaps I do need to single out 2 amongst you who have been generous enough in agreeing to travel from other cities to be with us today. Dr. Sundara, thank you for promptly agreeing to make the special effort to come from Bangalore, and Professor Nayanjot Leri for flying in from Delhi to be with us today. I hope Mumbai can also offer you a breath of cleaner air for the day. My thanks to the trustee of the Asiatic Society of Mumbai, not only for your presence this evening, but also for your support and encouragement through the year. My thanks to all my colleagues for working on the citations and for reading them out today. You were an integral part of our proceedings this evening. A special word of thanks to Wilson College and Professor Nalwala for bringing us, your students, as volunteers for the evening. The ASM is grateful to them for their enthusiastic willingness to help, and may I be bold to say, to help in the flawless execution of the program this evening. Ravindra Chima and Prabha Ravishankar, thank you for all the labor you put in on writing the monographs in our Founders and Guardians series. I hope Dr. Tikekar is watching us from somewhere and is pleased at our continuous efforts to complete the project he had started. In this context, a special word of thanks to Dr. Usha Thakkar and her committee for keeping this project alive, and to Ms. Sonavi Desai of Indus Source for publishing the monographs. A very big thank you to the Ministry of Culture, New Delhi, the Government of Maharashtra, and above all, to all our donors. Without them, we would not be able to survive. Finally, to our President, Mr. Kale, for taking charge of today's proceedings and doing such a good job, not just this evening, but in the running of the society. I think the many, many things we have achieved have been largely due to his efforts and his persistence. May I request a special round of applause? And let me add that none of this could happen if we did not have sincere and loyal staff, led by our administrative officer, Mr. Mane. They are the ones who work unstintingly. They work unstintingly to ensure that the Asiatic Society of Mumbai runs on well-oiled wheels. Finally, thank you, audience, for your presence, your patience, and your appreciation. Good night.